In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make indie pop rock music. And to do that, I remade Last Birthday by Valley, and I'll break down my remake of the song's elements, the sounds of those elements, the mixing, the structure and arrangement of the track, all that jazz. And hopefully by the end of this tutorial, you can make a song in a similar style to this one. Set the tempo around 120 BPM, start off by making some chill chords. I used two sounds to accomplish the overall sound of it. I used this piano pad preset from Flex, and then I used this string preset from Flex as well. Any similar sounds can create this overall chill atmospheric vibe. And for mixing, I have a sidechain on there, which all the elements are going to be sidechained in this tutorial, except the drums, just to amplify the drums later without turning up the actual volume of them. So that's why it's just only at 30%, it's just a little bit. And then I also have an EQ on here just to get rid of a little bit of the lows of these chords, just so that when we make basses later and stuff, the loads of the chords would not be too muddy in the mix. Next, make an ARP from those chords. And the way I made the ARP is I just went up here to the wrench and I hit arpeggiate, and then I used these settings in order to accomplish this ARP. And it sounds like this. The purpose of this is just to not really stand out in the mix, but just to fill up the mix a little bit and keep the rhythm going. And I use this guitar preset from Flex to accomplish the sound. And the mixing is the same exact thing as the chords, same sidechain, same EQ for the same reasons. Next, add a guitar sample. A good place to get guitar samples like this are Looperman, which is free, or Splice, which is paid for. I use both all the time. They provide really great quality samples like this. And for the mixing for this, I put a Fruity Blood overdrive on there. Nothing done to it, just a preset thrown in there itself, just to really amplify the overall essence of the sound. And then the same sidechain from earlier as well. Next, take the bass notes from the chords and chop them up into a rhythm. Usually to make a rhythm like this, I kind of just have some bass line in mind, and then I kind of just map it out on the MIDI, and then if it sounds good, great. If not, then I just kind of tweak it when I add other elements later, like the drums. I used two Flex presets to accomplish the sound. I used this one, and I used this one as well. Flex is really great for bass guitars, pianos, strings, all that stuff. And for mixing, I added a Fruity Blood overdrive. Again, nothing done to it, just to really amplify the overall sound of the bass. I put an EQ on here just to take out a little bit of the highs, just because the highs were a little bit peaking and you don't really want that to be in the mix. And the same sidechain from earlier. Now for the drums. I have this kick right here, along with this snare, and I put them into a pattern like this. I have this hi-hat as well, and I have this ride sample as well. And all together, the drums sound like this. So you go from kind of individually synthetic-y sounds into this like more realistic sounding once you add the hats and the rides and stuff like that. And then occasionally I have an open hi-hat that plays at the end of every 2 bars, as you see right here. Just to kind of add some flavor to the drums and add some variety so it doesn't sound too dull and boring and the same thing going on and on and on and on. And then for the mixing for the drums, all I did is I added a Fruity Blood overdrive to all of the elements with the color turned up a tiny bit, just to add some crispiness and amplification to the drums. And then for effects, all I have is an ARP playing in the background, just to kind of keep the rhythm going and to fill up the mix. And all I did for mixing is an EQ just to take out a little bit of the lows so it doesn't sound too muddy in the mix, and then amplify a little bit of the highs so you could hear them a little more in the mix. And then the same sidechain from earlier. And then for the structure and arrangement of this track, for the final result, I really focused on the chorus, but for any verses or intros or bridges or anything like that, some good advice I could give you is to just kind of start off with the guitar and then implement the bass maybe later on, and then maybe start putting in the drums and stuff like that. But for the chorus, you kind of want everything all together. You want the chords that we made, the ARP, the guitar loop, the bass, the ARP, and the drums just kind of going constant throughout the entire thing. And yeah, after all that, here's the final result. I'll be with